So just a quick video on how to replace a suspension fork. So basically you're going to need a 5mm and a 4mm hex, 5mm for the stem bolts. So basically first you're going to remove your cap here, alright, then you're going to remove your stem. I already removed the front wheel. When you remove the stem, be careful because the fork is going to slide right out, and keep in mind that you have your spacers here and you have your bearings in your steerer tube here. Before you remove the fork, make sure, actually first thing is to remove the caliper from the stankin leg. I'm going to try to make it quick and dirty, so I'm going to do this off camera and then come back. So I removed the disc brake caliper from the fork leg and carefully placed it over the down tube, and then I removed the cap on the headset and a spacer. I had moved the stem down a little bit, just prefer it that way for my setup. So now make sure you hold the fork steady, and you're going to remove or loosen the stem. Now if you don't hold the fork, it's just going to drop to the floor. So I'm holding it there while I loosen this up and loosen it here. I was just noticing, oh there it goes, it's falling. So make sure you hold the parts from your stem and then your, alright, so just lay that carefully there. Don't let this drop or you lose all your parts, and you want to keep track of how these go. So I have two spacers, I have the expander ring, and then I'm going to have the cone for the top of the bearing with a little plastic sleeve, and as I slide that down, there's the bearing. Okay, so the fork is just going to slide down from below. Alright, and there's the bearing, and you're going to have to reuse the little race here on your old fork. I'm going to see how tall this is, measure it, and cut the new fork to size. And if I can't get that star ring out, which usually if you come from below you can punch it out. Here's the two forks side by side. I'm going to have to cut off 1.5 inch off that top tube. This one's 8.5 inches long, the original. The other one's 10 inches long. You can see this one's a little longer travel. This 100mm, this is 80. I weighed them, and the Suntour 5.5 pounds, the Zoom 6.5 pounds. So I'm going to shave 1 pound off the front. Now to remove this crown race from the other fork, I used this bearing puller that I happen to have because I work a lot on cars. If you don't have something like this, what I would recommend is go ahead and buy a new one when you buy your fork, because the old one might be worn out if it's an old fork, plus it's a pain to get it out if you don't have the tool. To cut the top of the steerer tube, I use this little tool that I have. You can use a regular pipe cutter or whatever. Then I gently filed the edges so I didn't have any rough edges there. Now one of those things that can seem very simple but can be very frustrating in the end is putting the little star nut inside the tube. So what you want to do is thread the bolt into it, then place it there. So instead of just trying to tap directly on it and get it straight, get that bolt threaded in there, get it centered best you can, and tap it in. Sun's coming down fast, so I'm going to try to finish this outside. I'm going to put in the fork from below, and then with all the, make sure all the parts are in the same order that you put them. I have the top bearing in with the caps, have the bottom bearing in. Alright, it's a little compression ring. Alright, put that right there. Then we got to put the stem in. And I should have brought that up before I put. What happens when you try to hurry. Alright, let's do that again. There's the compression cap, there's the bottom. We'll lay that there. Alright, we got two spacers in the bottom. And we got the stem. We're going to leave the stem loose for now, right? Then we're going to put one spacer on the top, and install the cap for the headset, right? And that's gonna actually hold our stem in place. And then kind of wiggle it, make sure it's all aligned and in place. Give it a little tight. Alright, make sure it moves freely, but there's no play. And then after that, we're going to tighten the stem nice and straight, and we're done. So now we tighten the stem. Alright. Then all we got to do is hook up the brake, put on the wheel, and we are done. And the front end is now 2 pounds lighter. The bike, way different ride. So much smoother with that Suntour XCR. It's cost me $120 shipped. But right now as is, I could take this to a decent trail and it'll perform fine. I can't believe how much smoother a real suspension fork is on this bike. And I weighed it, and it weighs in at exactly 33 pounds. So now even the weight is respectable. Thanks for watching, and give it a thumbs up if you like it, and subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching.